Santa Ana. We're going to talk to the guy who has that OC Outdoors column on the Register, David Whiting. David, how are you?
Hi, Dave.
Terrific.
Hey, what were you doing up in, the fire's been in Northern California, and you were up hanging out in Southern Oregon. What was going on up there?
Well, I'm lucky enough, my folks have a little cabin up in Southern Oregon that they picked up a couple of decades ago, and we were up there for a bit of a family reunion, but I'll tell you, the fires from Southern California, the smoke was all over the place.
Well, you were all over the place yourself, and talk about what made this travel so special for you.
Well, one of the great things, of course, is being with family, and that's what it's all about, I think, with the outdoors and summer and everything else. And everybody these days is going on vacation, and it's just a time to get away from all the incredible urban, just everything that we have going on. And I think that was what this vacation was all about, too. But I'll tell you, it would have been nice to have a little less smoke up there.
Yeah, no kidding. My parents actually live in Redding, which is as far north as you're going to get in a big town before you actually get, well, big town, a medium-sized,
that's right.
That's all relative, a medium-sized town before you actually get to Oregon. And speaking with my mom last week, she and my dad got in the car and drove to Oregon because the smoke was so intense where they live. Are you suggesting that maybe people cancel plans to go to Northern California, or do you have some sort of some better advice?
That's a good question, and a couple of days there I thought, well, gee, maybe I should have postponed it. But if you postpone it at this rate, you're really going to have to wait until next summer. And so if you've got a choice, maybe stay locally, I would say, actually. But it's still, we had a great time and a great vacation. I managed to squeeze in a mountain climb with my sister, who's been waiting 20 years to tackle the biggest mountain in Southern Oregon. Here she is looking at the ridge route. This is a Mount McLaughlin, and as I said, it is a landmark in Southern Oregon. It's pretty volcanic, obviously, and she did an amazing job. She's 55 years old. This is her first mountain, and it's probably a little bit more than she probably should have tried to bite off, but she was really eager, and she's been training for a long time, overcoming some health problems over the years, and she made it all the way to the summit. But as I say in my column tomorrow, you have to wait till next week to find out what goes on, and it went on and on and on. So it was quite a night. We summited pretty late. It's 5 o'clock in these photos, and you can see the smoke there in the distance and some of the lakes as well. So again, though, this was obviously it's smoky, but not as smoky as it could have been.
You say your sister waited 20 years to hightail it up that summit. Was she waiting for you to get up there, or why so long? Was it just the health issues?
It was a health issue. She's not, not in great shape, and she basically was like many people going through sort of their 30s and 40s. It's a lot of distractions. You're focusing on your professional life and family life and a lot of other things, and sometimes it is hard. I've been up there about a half a dozen other times, so it was easy for me to help her go up the mountain.
Right.
And obviously I wouldn't be here if we didn't make it back down, but it did take us more than 12 hours, and we made it back in the wee hours of the morning, going through the forest in the dark. So it worked out, but we learned a lot of good lessons. If you start early, start real early.
Yeah.
What was the best part of the climb for you?
It was really being with her and seeing her, I think, discover that she could do something that she'd been looking forward to for so long, and digging deep, going to the summit, and then kind of staggering out of the forest. So it's all about family again, and that bonding kind of experience that we managed to do during the summer months.
Well, I tell you, it sounded like a gutsy finish for her, because something happened on the way up that might have slowed most folks down.
That's right. Yeah, she stumbled. She had a pretty bad fall, bashed her knee. I figured that was it for the climb. We were about 500 feet below the summit, and there's a cliff on one side that's about 500 feet and vertical feet, and an awfully steep slope with literally millions. The whole mountain is made, like many of these mountains are, of really loose rocks, and I figured that was it. But she was just going to keep going, and it really, I think, speaks to the spirit within all of us, no matter how old or young we are. And you can just keep going if you want to do it and realize your dreams.
Yeah.
And you're all over the place, I'll tell you that. David, thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Again, that's the first in a two-part series, so if you want to find out what happens in the end, you got to read part 1 and part 2 coming up next week in David Whiting's column.